Morning, everybody. I'm going to take a few minutes here to give you some advice and some ideas about how to approach businesses and how to make it easier for you to get into the workforce. But first of all, you have to understand the mindset of a business person or the mindset of a business. I'm a businessman, and I'm motivated by money. I'm motivated by operating margins and bottom lines. And that's very important to any business. My payroll for my 210 employees is almost $3 million a year. So I have a responsibility to make sure that my business is profitable so that I can afford to pay my staff. So the mindset of business people is based on the fact that they need to be profitable. And this is something that we need to think about when we're applying for a job. It cannot be a charity position. You have to be applying for jobs that are meaningful. You have to be applying for jobs that are actually advertised. You don't want to be calling on a business, cold calling, with an application for a position that may not even exist. Now, people who apply for jobs who have a disability obviously are not going to have the same opportunity as people who don't. But there are things that you can bring to an interview, things that you can say that shows the business that you may have a competitive advantage. For example, people who have disabilities tend to work harder than those who don't. People who have disabilities tend to have less absenteeism than those who don't. People who have a disability tend to be more productive in the workplace than people who don't. Those are pieces of information that you can use when you go to a job interview. You can say to the interviewer, "Did you know that if you hire me, I will be sick less often than people who don't have a disability?" And that's a fact. That's not just guesswork. It's being documented. The chances are the interviewer doesn't know that, and you can use that to your advantage. There are others as well, such as people who have a disability tend to be more innovative than people who don't have a disability, and you can use that when you go to your interview. Now, if you have a job coach, let's see a show of hands. Are there any job coaches or community developers in this room? Okay. There's a reason why businesses don't hire, generally speaking, don't hire people with disabilities. And that is because they buy into a series of myths and misperceptions. But a company that has hired somebody with a disability or has hired a number of them will know the benefits of doing so. So if you're applying for a job and you have a job coach who's working with you, you will want that job coach to contact one of the businesses that they have had some success with, because that hiring manager is a champion. And you want that champion to contact the hiring manager of the business that you are applying for, because business people tend to listen to business people. So if a service provider comes to me, and I've never hired a person with a disability, and they say, "Can you please hire my client?" I'm going to say, "What's in it for me?" And that's the way business people think. But if your service provider calls my colleague down the street and says, "Would you please make a call on my behalf to Mark and let him know the benefits of hiring somebody with a disability?" And I get that call, I am going to be much more open-minded to hiring you and talking to your service provider. And those ideas are very, very important.